Well, there has been inevitable backlash online, fans accusing Disney of inserting unnecessary feminism into classic fairy tales.
And this is despicable stuff because you are taking legacy properties and you're still making your money off your legacy properties while simultaneously promoting a woke left-wing agenda that targets children. That is what Disney has been doing.
Disney has done it again. This Snow White controversy has gone way longer than they thought that it would, and it's going terribly.
I mean, I guess, what are we going to have? Like a lesbian, a trans person, someone in a wheelchair, someone of color? Like, I don't understand.
The celebration of Disney's 100th anniversary was meant to be a nostalgic look back at decades of enchanted narrative, cherished characters, and unmatched cinematic accomplishments. Rather, it has turned into a tumultuous period in the business's history. The live-action Snow White remake, which has been tainted by controversy from the beginning, is at the center of the mayhem. The outcry to Snow White is unparalleled, ranging from 5 failed test screenings to a trailer that was completely destroyed online. Reports indicate internal dissatisfaction and growing doubt about the company's direction, indicating that even Disney CEO Bob Iger is at a loss. This video will examine how Snow White became the focal point of one of Disney's biggest public relations mishaps, examine the causes of the criticism, and talk about whether the corporation has a chance to bounce back. Stay tuned to learn how a movie about a princess from a fairy tale became the ultimate Hollywood cautionary tale.
Disney's woke Snow White trailer trashed hours after release. I want the queen to win in this version. And yes, indeed, right now I just refreshed this. Almost 400,000 dislikes.
To the bottomless, gaping pit of insecurity you call a soul.
Yeah. Weird.
Eventually, probably soon, the world will recognize you for the pitiful disappointment you are.
Disney CEO Bob Iger is under more scrutiny than ever before as a result of the Snow White scandal. Iger, a seasoned executive who led Disney through some of its most successful years, is currently dealing with a problem that could jeopardize his reputation. Rumor has it that Iger is frantically trying to minimize the consequences while dealing with an unprecedented degree of blowback as Snow White turns into a public relations catastrophe. Iger has traditionally prioritized expansion, creativity, and calculated acquisitions in his leadership style. His management of the Snow White remake, however, has sparked debate about whether the company's goals match those of its viewers. According to reports, Iger has been dissatisfied with the film's creative direction, which has resulted in last-minute adjustments made in an effort to save the production. According to insiders, Disney responded to fan complaints by tightening the editing and reworking important scenes, but these reactive actions haven't done much to stop the negative feedback. Moreover, Iger's legacy may be affected more broadly by the Snow White dispute. The stakes are larger than ever because he plans to retire in 2026. The remake might represent a worse blunder under his direction if it doesn't connect with viewers. Iger has received both acclaim and criticism for his emphasis on inclusivity and diversity. However, the outcomes, a declining market capitalization and a decline in box office receipts, indicate that Disney's strategic and creative priorities need to be reevaluated. Iger's ability to lead the business through these difficult times will be a defining moment in his career as the Snow White scandal develops. Fans, investors, and business insiders are all keeping a careful eye on Disney to see if it will grow from its mistakes and rediscover the timeless enchantment that once made it a dominant force in the entertainment world.
We check in on Disney's upcoming Snow White remake. Somehow things get even worse than they were before. This is a production that went off the rails a long time ago, which is quite an achievement. If you think about it, with all the money and technology we have in 2024, somehow Disney is struggling very hard to match the quality of a film from the 1930s.
I look at you, and I just want to be the fairest of them all.
I doubt that.
It's a human.
What did you think I was?
Nothing goes.
What is that? They could have easily made this into a horror movie. What they did with Snow White here is another example of Disney trying to fix something that wasn't broken.
This is our kingdom, and now we're here to take it back.
Expectations were high when Disney revealed that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs would be remade in live action. A pillar of Disney's heritage, the original 1937 animated movie is a huge accomplishment in the history of cinema. Snow White, the first feature-length animated picture ever made, was more than just a film. It was a groundbreaking work of art that laid the foundation for Disney's international conglomerate. Fans naturally hoped that by preserving the original's enchantment, charm, and timeless appeal, the The remake would uphold this tradition, but the live-action version soon lost its focus, drawing harsh criticism and a heated discussion about its goals. A significant portion of the criticism focused on Disney's alleged overemphasis on DEI projects. Many fans contend that Disney has adopted a heavy-handed strategy, putting messaging ahead of the fundamental components of entertainment, gripping stories, interesting characters, and emotional resonance. Even though inclusivity is a crucial and developing aspect of contemporary storytelling, audiences were already divided by the film's production information and leaked photographs, so the issue started to simmer long before the trailer was revealed. However, the trailer's release signaled a sea change. Instead of creating enthusiasm, it served as a focal point for general dissatisfaction and criticism. The trailer was met with a barrage of nasty online reviews almost instantly, gaining the unenviable distinction of being among the most hated in movie history. One of the main points of dispute was how the famous 7 dwarfs were portrayed. The dwarfs were swapped out for CGI-generated characters that were portrayed as magical beings in an effort to update the narrative and steer clear of preconceptions. Despite its good intentions, this decision was widely mocked. The lifeless and uninspired computer-generated characters, according to fans, lacked the uniqueness and charm that made the original 7 dwarfs so adored. The choice also prompted concerns about whether Disney was foregoing artistic integrity in an effort to avoid any disputes. Beyond the aesthetics, a lot of fans were disappointed by what they saw as a weakening of the magic of the original tale. With a story full of whimsy, peril, and redemption, the 1937 movie is firmly anchored in its fairy tale roots. In contrast, the remake has drawn criticism for putting a contemporary social message ahead of maintaining the timeless elements of the original work. The modifications, according to some admirers, alienated viewers who loved the timeless story by coming across as disrespectful of the original's legacy. The criticism was fast and relentless on social media. Almost soon after the trailer's release, hashtags like #BoycottSnowWhite and #NotMySnowWhite started to trend. Fans vented their annoyances on social media sites like YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter by posting reaction videos, memes, and harsh criticisms of the remake's artistic direction. Disney's current practice of recreating old films in ways that seem distant from their initial appeal has been mentioned by many as a source of increasing discontent.
Snow White? I never watched the Snow White trailer. 3 days ago. It has 5.3 million views. Wow. For people who don't have the extension right now, dislikes is 588,000. Oh my god. Over 500,000 dislikes.
Oh my god.
That's a ratio there.
Okay.
That's a ratio.
18,000 up, 271,855 down. Now that is an aggregate. Okay, that is an aggregate, and usually it's higher. So it estimates low.
I'm not a mentat, but the quick math on this, it's a 14-to-1 ratio.
That's
14 downvotes to 1 upvote.
The interaction on the downside is crazy.
Disney's problems have only got worse under Bob Iger.
In the end, the Snow White controversy is a reflection of a larger discussion of how to strike a balance between respecting traditional tales and adapting them for a contemporary audience. Although there is no denying the significance of inclusion and representation, both reviewers and fans have questioned whether these objectives should come at the price of realism and narrative depth. For a lot of people, Snow White has come to represent what can go wrong when artistic choices seem more like premeditated tactics than authentic narrative.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
Famed is thy beauty, Majesty.
The queen is evil. We must flee into the woods.
My parents always said this forest was a magical place. No? Is there anybody here? What did you think I was? Nothing.
Ghost.
You'll be safe from the queen here.
I'm sorry, my dear. Did I frighten you?
At first, it was thought that Disney had taken a risk by hiring Rachel Zegler as Snow White and Gal Gadot as the evil queen, utilizing the star power of 2 well-known actors to revitalize a beloved classic. Gadot, who is well known throughout the world for her portrayal as Wonder Woman, and Zegler, who gained notoriety for her breakthrough performance in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, appeared to be a promising combination to lead the project. Their participation soon turned into a double-edged sword, though, since their public personas and remarks greatly fueled the debate around the movie. In particular, Rachel Zegler was the target of harsh criticism after she publicly criticized the 1937 cartoon masterpiece in a series of interviews. She regarded the original Snow White's main themes as unsuitable for today's audiences and called it out of date. Ziegler also said that the reimagining will present Snow White as a strong, self-reliant woman. Zegler's comments, according to critics, come off as disparaging not only the original film but also the morals and storytelling customs that made it a cultural icon. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is more than simply a movie to generations of spectators. It's both a groundbreaking cinematic accomplishment and a nostalgic relic of their youth. A core audience that values the timeless story was offended by Zegler's remarks, which were interpreted as an effort to diminish the original's legacy. Zegler's social media connections added to the complexity of the case. Despite appearing to be an attempt to defend the movie, her strong reactions to criticism frequently made the problem worse. Supporters characterized her remarks as hostile rather than helpful, accusing her of being tone-deaf to valid worries about the remake's artistic approach. Some even demanded that she be recast, claiming that the movie's image was suffering more from her public persona than from it. Gal Gadot found herself in an equally challenging position. Her casting as the evil queen initially sparked excitement, but trailers and test screenings raised doubts. Critics described her performance as overly theatrical, lacking the subtle menace that made the original villain iconic. Fans questioned if Gadot's polished, heroic image as Wonder Woman clashed with the dark, conniving nature of the role. Her exaggerated expressions and dramatic delivery in the trailer drew further criticism, with some calling it caricature-like.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
Yeah, they certainly are. Now listen, if Disney wants to make more woke films that tank at the box office, they are more than welcome to do that, but maybe think of an original idea. Maybe not destroy a classic from my childhood and put an actress in there that not only hates the plot and the storyline of the movie she's in, but also seemingly hates Snow White.
Inclusivity, when done right, celebrates diversity and enriches storytelling by providing fresh perspectives and making stories relatable to a broader audience. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, aims to foster environments that embrace and uplift individuals from all backgrounds. For Disney, known for universal stories and global appeal, integrating DEI into its productions seems logical. However, critics argue that Disney's recent approach, particularly with Snow White, feels more performative than authentic, prioritizing optics over storytelling. The remake's most controversial decision was replacing the Seven Dwarfs with CGI creations, stripping the characters of the charm and personality that made them integral to the original. Other changes, including casting updates, have been criticized as forced and disconnected from the story's heart. Fans felt the film prioritized delivering a message over crafting an engaging narrative. While inclusivity and storytelling can complement each other, issues arise when execution feels superficial. True inclusivity should enrich narratives by creating multi-dimensional characters and arcs that resonate across diverse audiences. The backlash against Snow White highlights a larger debate. Should adaptations remain faithful to their originals or evolve to reflect contemporary values?
How much money did Disney lose? Then last, what did it say, 200 and how much? Because what? They're having a problem with their content because the people that you're talking about, us against them, we're not buying.
The challenge lies in balancing these perspectives, honoring the past while embracing the future. For Disney, the lesson is clear. To regain fans' trust, it must align its DEI goals with its legacy of storytelling excellence, proving that inclusivity and compelling narratives can go hand in hand.
Storytelling, because they actually look down on the audience that they're targeting. I also think there's another dynamic here, which is actually the media. So the media works against them. So if you actually just wanted to tell a story and the entire cast of that film was white, even before you watch the movie, all the promo will just be saturated by these sort of pink news articles saying, oh, it's sexist, it's homophobic, it's transgender. So even before the film comes out, you have media working against you. So in that, and the media will be easily disseminated. So that will kind of kill the buzz before anyone bothers to watch the film. And I think that's the issue. They've stopped respecting the audience and they feel the need to.
For countless Disney fans, the solution to the company's recent challenges lies in returning to its roots. focusing on imaginative storytelling, memorable characters, and timeless themes that transcend generations and cultures. This nostalgia-driven call isn't about resisting change, but preserving the essence of what makes Disney's stories universally cherished. Disney's magic has always been its ability to create narratives that resonate deeply.
When a creator has pitched you a great story and you've given them the ability to go out and tell that story, you've given them the resources, the money, the tools, the place to tell that story. That story.
Fans argue that recent projects have shifted away from these principles, emphasizing political and social messaging over immersive storytelling. While addressing contemporary issues is important, the concern arises when these efforts overshadow core narratives, making films feel more like platforms for debate than magical experiences. What fans want is a balance, where diversity and progress are naturally integrated without feeling forced, where universal themes are explored through unique perspectives, and where characters, regardless of background, are fully developed and relatable. As for Snow White, its future remains uncertain. Rumors suggest some executives are pushing for a Disney Plus release to soften the financial blow, though CEO Bob Iger reportedly opposes this, determined to prove doubters wrong. Whether this decision will succeed remains to be seen. Disney's Snow White remake has become a lightning rod for controversy, raising questions about the company's priorities and future direction. While the road to recovery won't be easy, Disney has weathered storms before and emerged stronger. With a renewed focus on its storytelling roots, it has the chance to win back its audience and reclaim its place as a leader in family entertainment. What's your take on the backlash surrounding Snow White and Disney's broader DEI efforts? Do you think the criticism is warranted, or is it being blown out of proportion? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of the entertainment world.